Subtasks and Jira are one of the most overlooked features that you might not be using. It could actually help make things easier for your team. So if you stick until the end of this video, you'll learn how to use subtasks and see real examples of using a subtask in a Jira project. Now, to use the actual data that I'm showing, you can download my free Jira guide to go from beginner to expert at alvinthepm.com/free guide. So let's get into what a subtask is in Jira. First, a subtask is a smaller part, or what's called a child, of a larger work type, like a story, a bug, or a task. It basically breaks down a larger piece of work into more manageable chunks. So a subtask, it's kind of like your instructional steps to perform the work that's tied to a user story or a bug. In the real world, if you were building an IKEA desk, as an example, then you'd have a bunch of subtasks to build out the furniture. So step 1, step 2, step 3, etc. Like get a screwdriver, get the screws, build it together, etc. It's the same way with using subtasks in Jira. If you were building a software app and your user story was, as a user, I want to be able to view my recent orders from the website, then your subtasks might be these 4 things. Design UI for recent orders page, implement the front end for the recent orders display, create an API to fetch the recent orders, and lastly, integrate the front end with the API. So you can see here that the subtask is much more granular. It's linked to its parent user story, and it breaks down how to get the work done for that specific user story. And the best analogy I can give you for what a subtask is, it's like your instructional manual that has the steps of what work needs to be done. Essentially the how you're going to get it done. In comparison, a user story defines a feature or a requirement that gives value to the customer. A bug, on the other hand, is used to track a defect in the software when something isn't working as you expected it to. And this can take place anytime during development, testing, or production. I've created a quick table here that I'm going to show on the screen, which explains these big differences between a user story, a bug, and a subtask. Feel free to take a screenshot of this table so you have it for your reference. One thing I do want to point out from my table is that in Jira, a subtask cannot exist independently of other work types. It's only created as a child of a parent work type, like a user story, a bug, or a task. Is that making sense so far? With that said, let's dive into Jira to show you how to use subtasks. If you haven't done so already, first create your own Jira account using my link down below. It's completely free. That way you have your own account and your own sandbox that you can play with. When I open Jira, I have this project for building an e-commerce shopping software app. Normally, I would create a work type by clicking on the blue create button that's at the very top. When we go to the work type drop-down menu, you can see that we only create work types for a task, a story, a bug, or an epic. You can't really create a subtask in this way. It has to be opened directly after you've created your story, your bug, or your task. Let me show you what I mean here. Let's create a user story for this. As a user, I want to log into the website so that I can access my personal dashboard. Now let's say that we want to create subtasks for this user story. How do we do that? Well, for your user story, if you click on the plus add button, we can choose the option for subtask. And we're going to see this new section appear in the middle for adding subtasks. We can enter in our first subtask here. So let's say that our first subtask to create this user story is implement the login for the user interface. After you click on the create button at the bottom right corner, the subtask will auto-populate with the new subtask that you just created. You can repeat the step as many times as you need to if you want to create all the subtasks to perform the work that's required to complete your user story. So in this example, we're creating a few subtasks that are tied to the user story that allows a user to log into the website and access their personal dashboard. It's inside this table that you can quickly update a few attributes for each subtask. For example, you can change the priority from medium to high, change the person who's assigned to it, as well as the status. In this example, the user story is a large task, and because we're using subtasks, it can make it easier to break down the work into smaller actionable steps that the developers can work on. Now, what does this look like if the user story was actively part of the current sprint? Let me show you. In the group menu at the very right, we can choose the option to group everything by stories. When you do this, you'll see all of your user stories grouped together and any subtasks underneath it. So for my example, the first user story shows the 4 subtasks that we've added that are related to it. And the rest of our user stories are shown below it, which are part of our current sprint. Those user stories don't have any subtasks, only the ones that we're seeing at the top here. What's cool about this is that you can move across the columns the status of each subtask. So in my case, I can move each of them from to do, to verify, in progress, and done. After you move all the subtasks to the done column, Jira will show you a pop-up box that asks you, do you want to update your parent's user story to also be marked as completed? This, my friend, this is the biggest difference if you're using subtasks and you do decide to show them on your Scrum board. So strategically, when you're using subtasks in Jira, you're treating them as individual items in your Scrum board. And this can actually be helpful if you need to track or better facilitate your team's work, if they're working on really complex or much larger user stories. The subtasks are powerful because they kind of work like a great to-do list. They help your software developers if they need a little bit more granular detail so they can write down and capture the work that they need to do to complete their specific user story. Just keep in mind that although you might be able to see subtasks on the Scrum board, you won't directly see your subtasks in your backlog. So in our Scrum board, we see our 4 subtasks in the in progress column under our user story. In our backlog, we don't see any subtasks directly. All we see are our user stories. To see the subtasks, we have to click on the user story that it's tied to, and then we'll see the 4 subtasks underneath it. You'll usually know which user story has subtasks because it has a drop-down icon to the left of it. If we scroll through to the rest of our backlog, we'll see that the remaining work items we have, they're all primarily user stories and they don't have any subtasks tied to it. Now, before I reveal my best strategies for using subtasks, drop me a comment down below. What area are you struggling with the most in Jira that you need help with? Let me know down below so I can create even more videos to help you master Jira and overcome any challenges that you're going through. Let me know down below and I look forward to hearing from you. So how do you know when to use a subtask? Well, subtasks can actually be quite effective if you want to break down larger user stories because they're too large or they're too complex. If one of your user stories involves both front-end and back-end work, just as an example here, you can create subtasks for each of them. This allows your software development team to work on different aspects of the user story at the same time so it can be completed by the end of your 2-week sprint. Another scenario of when you might want to use a subtask is if a user story or a bug requires multiple team members to work on it. And if that's the case, you can create multiple subtasks underneath that one user story and then assign them to different people. For example, one person may need to handle changing the attributes of the database, right? And then another person may need to work directly on how the user interface looks and functions. Because of how easy it is to create subtasks underneath a user story or a bug, this makes it so much more easier for your technical team and your developers to split up their work and divide and conquer to get that one user story finished. Now, I would not recommend using subtasks if the work is really simple and it doesn't require breaking them down into smaller tasks. If the scope is too small that you can actually manage it on its own, then just leave it as its own user story, task, or bug. Otherwise, you're just adding more things to your backlog when you really don't need to. There's no need to complicate things and add more layers of complexity if you don't have to. So with that said, here are a few of my best practices when it comes to using subtasks. First, Use a subtask if it helps your technical team keep track of their work when it comes to working on much larger and more complex user stories. If you decide to use subtasks, let the developers write their subtasks because, let's face it, they're the ones who have the technical knowledge of what work actually needs to be done. They're the ones who are creating their own to-do list. Second, you want to avoid listing too many subtasks underneath one user story. Otherwise, it can feel overwhelming to see all this work that needs to be completed to finish that one user story. And third, make sure you update the status of each subtask accordingly so that your Scrum board always reflects the most recent progress as you close out your sprint. Subtasks in Jira are one of the most overlooked features that you might not be using, and they actually could help you better facilitate your team's work. To learn everything you need to use Jira and go from beginner to expert, please watch this video next, and I'll see you in the next video.